And now the conclusion.
Yeah, we're kind of growing up in like this new kind of Renaissance golden age for us. It's like people our age who kind of feel the same way we do with that same nostalgia, that same FOMO and everything. They're making the stuff that we always kind of wish we had. Avery, what about you? Was there something as a kid that you were it was like your grail that you just never got as a kid? Maybe you were able to find it as an adult somewhere.
Um, I had like a different aspect because my mom basically cooked it into me. You can't get everything you want.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, um, I'll say this: I had something that was broken. My little cousin, my mom had adopted. I had the Micro Machine Star Trek ships that came out around about 93, 94. And so I had two of the three sets. I mean, two of the three ship sets. The one set I had the original Enterprise, the Romulan Bird of Prey from Bound to Terra, and it had the D7 Klingon battle cruiser. And
Yeah.
the other set had the Reliant, the Excelsior, and what was the other ship that came? Reliant, the Excelsior. I can't think what the other ship is that was with it. And so, I had them out the case, and I used to leave my ships on top of my dresser. So, my cousin had a penchant for breaking stuff. Um, at 3, 4, and 5, he would just break stuff. So I kept my toys out of sight. Well, I had went somewhere for the summertime. I don't know if it was like a summer camp where I went outside, and I come back to my room, and I see my ships aren't on my bureau. And he couldn't get to my ships. At least I didn't think he could. He must have climbed up and got to them. But I come back, and my ships are gone. And I'm like, where are my ships at? And those ships are only but so big. And I'm like, I know I didn't have them out or play with them. So then I'm looking around my room, and then I look behind my bed because I have my bed at an angle, and then there's a part of my bed that you have to go around to the other side. And I go to the other side, and my ships are on the ground, ripped apart. Like
Oh shit!
The nacelles are ripped off, all of that.
Yo.
And I'm just like, what the heck? So I was pissed off. I told my mom. I'm not gonna lie. I punched my cousin in the stomach for that. He's 12 years younger than me, but so my mom was like, oh, I'll rebuy them for you. But by that time, you couldn't find those in the store. But so, KB Toy Store was going out of business, and they had put all their product in the like liquidation stores at outlets. So there was a KB outlet in Williamsburg, Virginia, at this mall that used to be there. They tore that mall down and repurposed it in the last 6, 7 years. And there was a KB outlet there, and I happened to go there, and they had so what Michael's Machines did, they had the 3-packs, but then they had the full, complete, like, series where they had, like, 10, like, 12, 15 ships of all the lines. And so that KB Toy Store outlet had that full Series 1, and it was dirt cheap because it was all liquidation. So I went to my mom. I'm like, hey, this has the toys I was trying to replace that my cousin destroyed for no reason. You said you would replace them. Can you get this for me? You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't that much because it was liquidation. And my mom turns to me and is like, nope, I'm not getting it for you. And I was like, but he destroyed my toys. And my mom goes, well, you shouldn't have had your toys out. And she reneged on the replacing the toys. And so years later, 2013, I'm at the, that was like 1998, probably 97 when all this happened. So
yeah, it sounds like you're sounds like you're building origin story, Avery.
Yeah, yeah. So years later, I go to I'm at the San Francisco comic book convention. I mean, Star Trek convention when they used to do it, and I go, and they had the set there, and I only paid $40 for it. So that was like the most gratifying feeling I had in my life because I only had to pay $40 and I got the set. So that was a chase that I was after.
Man, that's I something similar happened to me. I had when I was a kid, I had all my Trek figures laid out kind of on a dresser, and they're all holding those phasers that all had like the little phaser beam shooting out of it.
Terrible.
And my brother was like one or two. He went to my room when I was at school one day, and he took some scissors and he cut like those phaser things off.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, I know. I know that basically what I'm trying to say is I know what that trauma is. You know what I mean? So like I 100% get that. Um,
I think he did
yeah,
you
man.
a favor. I hated those little blast fans that came out of the guns.
Oh,
But
those
it's
Playmates.
original, it's like it came that way.
You know, I wasn't. I don't know if I liked them or not either because it was like no matter what, they're always shooting. You know what I mean? Like no matter what, like
Yeah.
I'm like you guys calm down. Like you guys are supposed to be peaceful, and you're shooting everybody. um, but what I really hated was when the Voyager line came out and they were cutting costs, and all the phasers were all just that same solid color. They weren't like the silver phaser with the orange beam coming out, and they were all the same color as all the other accessories. That drove me nuts. And then I think eventually they got to a point where they were just releasing phasers without that little beam. So I mean, I felt kind of satisfied by that. But I mean, even like the season 4 DS9 Wharf, that came with like a nice like phaser, like that kind of like banana handle kind of a phaser, but it didn't have a beam on it. But it was solid purple because all of his, even his mech left knife, his everything, his bat left, they were all purple. So yeah, that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Let me ask you guys a weird question in terms of nostalgia. And I'm maybe this kind of fits in the same vein. When I was a kid, my toys could not interact with a different series of toys. So, for example, like I would have friends who would play like with their GI Joes and their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and their Transformers all together, and that drove me nuts. And I'm not sure why. There was just something in my brain that was like, I'm not ready for that crossover event. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, like the most ambitious crossover ever. I'm not ready for that. So did you guys kind of mix and match your toys like that at all? Because I would probably have not been your friend.
I think I was like you in that respect. Like if it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and like Star Trek stuff, I would not mix that. But if it was something like Hot Wheels cars and Matchbox cars, sure, I'd mix that because they're similar. You know. But other than that, yeah, I usually just kept them to their own lines or
that. Important question then, Jared. What about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Star Trek figures, where they're in their Starfleet uniforms? Are those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or are they Star Trek?
Oh God, the $1 million question, eh? Right?
That's the kind of in-depth stuff we're getting into on this podcast. We're taking it to new levels, everybody. So, I mean, what do they cross over? Like, are they on the bridge of the Enterprise? Are they in a sewer somewhere? Like, what are they doing?
Well, I suppose I mean, if I suppose they could be like an alien in Star Trek. So if they were, Trekified, I guess you could cross them over that way. But
okay, cool. I know those go for like, I mean, $75 on card now. So there's still some decent value to them. I was kind of hoping when Playmates started re-releasing these 4-packs of all these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures, I was kind of hoping that would end up being a 4-pack with their Star Trek. Because, Playmates had the license for both of them back in the 90s. So it was like a perfect combination. You put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you put a Starfleet uniform on them, it was cool. I was kind of hoping we'd see a 4-pack re-release of those, but no luck yet. What about you, Chris? Did you mix and match your toys, or
not too much. Maybe like the superhero stuff, like the ToyBoyz Marvel figures, and like the superpowers figures.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I would definitely intermix those, but like I used to have the Thundercats playset, like the big castle, and I used that for like almost every, like that was like my diorama or like my playset for like every, like for He-Man or like like any, like Brave Star or whatever figures that I had, that was like the little command center for everything.
Nice. What about you, Eric?
I did not mix and match too much. The only exception would be Lego, which seemed to kind of go with a lot of things.
Yeah.
I had a Lego airport, and I would have the Decepticons attack it, and I would just take that airplane and just crush it, with my hands, and the pieces would just fly everywhere, and also there was certain Lego pieces that they're like transparent,
Yeah.
reds.
Yeah.
If you stack a bunch of those together, you can make energon cubes out of them. Because none of the Transformers back then came with energon cubes, which seemed kind of crazy to me because they were in the show all the time. Major plot point. So
Yeah, you hear that, Hasbro? You really screwed us on the lack of energon cube.
they've tried to rectify that with some of the adult toys where they've thrown energon cubes in. Where it was like an
it was too little, too
Insecticon
late.
3-pack.
Yeah.
What about GoBots and Transformers, Eric?
When I hear GoBots, I wince. That's my first.
Oh, really?
I had some friends who had a couple GoBots, and they just seem like cheap Transformers that weren't as designed as well, and they kind of had a lot of loose their floppy limbs, and never impressed by them. Even as like a 6-year-old or whatever, I was like, this is not very good.
I love watching. There's like old news reports of like they'll hand the parent like a transformer. Transformers are brand new, and they'll hand it to the parent. And the parent's like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, like they literally have they don't, and then the kids like but it was like it was like a Pandora's box. Like it was like the devil for parents. Like they did not know what to do with these transformers. They couldn't handle it. I don't know if I knew anybody with GoBots. I'm not sure. I remember GoBots. I'm not sure if I knew anybody that actually had them. I would say that I used to do the same thing Eric did. I would with Legos, like I would use Legos. I would make like a wall, but I would loosely put the pieces together so that when I shot like a GI Joe missile, it would blow the wall down and like knock somebody out or whatever, fall on somebody. So yeah, so I did kind of incorporate Legos into some of my like playing so that I could, get some more dynamic things like that going on. What about you, Avery? Did you kind of mix and match anything, or were you like, I don't know, super weird like us? Like you couldn't cross the streams.
Only thing that kind of I slightly mismatched on was I had a Lego ship. They had the blue and white shells, the Lego power ship. I think it was called the Caribbean Clipper. Because my mom would never get me the pirate power ships. She would get the good guy ones because the good guy ships were smaller than the pirate ships. The actual pirate, like the pirate ship, was like almost 2 times bigger and more expensive. So I got the Caribbean Clipper, I think it was, and I had some extra Lego pieces, so I made some modifications to like the little upper deck area, and that ended up becoming like a pseudo bridge area for me. Like I made little like displays where the Legos could sit, like they were like at the con and the navigator. So like if I was reenacting a scene from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan or Star Trek, I would use the Lego ships. The Caribbean Clipper was the Enterprise, and I got another Lego ship when I was in 2nd grade that had red sails. That was the Excelsior. And then I had made this specially custom-made ship that was like the Sea Duck from Tailspin, but that doubled as like a Klingon bird of prey. So, yeah, that's the only type of crossing the streams I kind of did, if you would say.
I gotcha. I appreciate the Tailspin reference. That was a
Oh, yeah.
too. The theme song for that was a bop too back in the day. Oh yeah, that was so good.
It sounds like Lego's really missing out on a crossover. How about like a Star Trek First Contact holodeck scene pirate ship?
Oh, yeah.
It's a deep cut.
Oh,
It's kind of a deep cut there.
From Generation.
From Generations, you mean?
Yeah,
during Generations. Okay.
Yeah, Worf's
yeah.
emotion. Yeah, you're right. Little tiny Worf getting thrown off the bow of the ship.
Walk the plank.
Hey, Eric, behind you, is that like I kind of caught the corner of it. Is that the GI Joe like battle station, the circular one, or on the floor?
Oh, on the floor down here.
Yeah.
That's the Cobra Terror drone that's like in
Yeah,
Nice.
pieces
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Because the top is a little yellowed when I got it out of storage, and I'm trying to decide whether to use the hydrogen peroxide bath, which that could be a whole other segment for another show, maybe on whitening
True. Yeah. Yeah. Toy
yellowed
like
toys.
restoration. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna bother doing that or if that'll just ruin the toy or not.
And then also that's the hovercraft, right? Behind you in front of the
Yeah.
flag. Sick.
Yeah, right. Hold on. Trying to. This is like a mirror effect.
Are you
Right
drunk?
under
This
my
is a
finger there.
sobriety
That's the
test.
hovercraft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to have that one, the hovercraft.
I mean, some portion of my collection is my original. The hovercraft is from when I was a kid, and I can't
Oh,
believe
nice.
the vanes, that tilt in the back are not
Yeah,
broken because all the ones on eBay, all of those things are just like snapped off and
Mm.
busted up.
like the
So
big
it
fans
somehow
on the back.
survived. Right, the rotors and all that, it's
Yeah.
all intact. I don't know how somebody didn't break it or how I didn't drop it. Just luck. I don't know.
Very
My brother
cool.
was 6 years younger than me, but we played with the Joes together, and I kind of taught him to respect the toys. And so, even at a very young age, there was never going to be that story where like he came into my room and he broke my toys or anything. Like they were our toys. It didn't matter who got them for Christmas. We played with them together, basically. It kind of became part of the whole group. So there wasn't like a possessive, that's mine, you can't touch it kind of thing. And so we both kind of took care of each other's stuff, basically.
Nice.
Mm.
I
Well,
thought
you
you were
guys,
talking
you
about
guys are
the
close
bullies.
in age, Eric.
6 years. He's six
Oh
years
wow.
younger. So
Oh okay.
the other funny thing I remember, just total random aside, but I got really good at convincing him what to put on his list for Santa Claus.
Oh
So,
man.
so like the next toy catalog would come out or whatever, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, this. Like I said, my parents
So
didn't spend a ton of money on it, so
so you
my
would be
brother would
like,
want.
these are like both our toys. We just keep them in my room.
I'll let you play with them once in a while. But I would have to talk him out of putting like toys I thought were stupid, like on his list because I didn't want them. Things like the GoBots, for some reason he was starting to steer towards GoBots. Like, no, 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 you don't want that. You want this. Worked out.
What about
Smart
masks?
man.
Did anyone collect mask figures?
I
Yeah,
I
I've
I'm
got a
aware
shelf
of
of
masks,
masks
but I never collected.
back there
You got masks out
too.
there?
You can't see it, but it's like in the back corner. I've got two shelves of mask stuff. Some of it was original, but a lot of it actually got ruined through. I had the what was the Miles Mayhem? Like it was a jet that turned into a helicopter. He was the main villain. It was like this blue jet, but the rotors would pop up and suddenly it would turn into a helicopter. Well, it had a lot of chrome on it, and that chrome doesn't hold up very well over the years. It gets all pitted and flaking off and just looks awful. So I have a bunch of the mask toys that they used a ton of chrome on their stuff for whatever reason. So they all look like crap. So I kind of want to replace a lot of them, but yeah, it's just not in the budget or the priority list right now. I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
You
remember
Well,
had a lot of masks, Chris?
yeah.
just I just had like the main car with the doors that would come up and like it would yeah, I
Thunderhawk.
always I
Yeah.
always liked them, but like there was stuff when I got when I was just like really young, like whatever I would see at the store and I'd like, and I just never really like or either like the lines like didn't last long or something, because there's like stuff that I had that I was younger that I didn't really know what it was when I was younger until like I got older and did digging, like, oh, I had that, like what is that, like in humanoids I had like a couple of the humanoids monsters, and there was this
Remember
other
them?
um collection. It was called like I think it's called like Steel Monsters, and they're kind of like Mad Max figures like that come with these like really cool like vehicles,
Yeah.
um like post-apocalyptic looking vehicles that like I had like two of those, but I didn't know what they were until I got older because I think I was just too young to like, or there wasn't like an outlet like a cartoon to go with it. So
Yeah. The thing
Nice.
about Mask is they had I think they had enough episodes to technically they could be syndicated. It's like 65
Syndication, yeah.
episodes or whatever. But they ran through them so quick. I think it was really only on for like 2 years. It was like 1 year it
Yeah.
was like the regular show. Then in season 2 they started racing each other or something instead. A total plot shift where they would just enter races, competitive races against each other. The show kind of completely fell apart at that point, and the toy line I think only lasted like 2 or 3 years, then it was gone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of the forgotten properties that Hasbro actually still owns.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. They were hot and heavy when they first came out. They were there, and they're still like when you look at like vintage toy groups and stuff like that. They're still in really high demand. People trying to pick up those mask figures from back in the day. So we spent a lot of time talking about nostalgia, our childhood, or the toys of the past, if you will. I think we would be remiss if we didn't start connecting on some more new releases that have been coming out, some things that we're getting into, and some toys that are coming out. So I know Avery is probably into this. I don't know if anybody else is, but right now NECA has teamed up with Target for their Holothon event, or some of us call it Hellathon, seeming to be an annual event now at this point in March. It's a 4-week event. So just is anybody? So I've picked up some holothon items. Anybody else? Anybody else holothoning it up? I know you're not a Toon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle person, Chris, but I didn't know if there was any holothon items that you're looking for.
Not really at the moment. I've kind of I've kind of slowed down on NECA stuff because I've been really getting into a lot of like the Hot Toys
Yeah.
figures lately. But also I live so close to Frankensons that I don't really go to like Target or Walmart or anything because there's so many. I don't know if it's like the scalpers or it's just like there's so many people like buy like it's hard to find that stuff at Target or Walmart. So I'd rather just go to Frankensons, and there's a NECA retailer there. So she gets kind of the stuff a little later, but it's still I'll just pick it up. I'll just pick it up there when I can. But there hasn't been anything outside of like the Universal monsters that I've been really wanting to pick up lately.
I got you. Yeah, if you're watching this, if you're one of the millions of fans who are watching this right now, and you are involved in this Hellathon event, you know the pain, and you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Toon collector. You do know the pain of trying to get that Toon accessory set. Crazy high demand right now. There's like targets. If they're getting them, they're only getting like 3 at a time, and they're getting bought quick. They actually went up on the Target website yesterday for the first day of like the online sales for Holothon, and they were gone in 30 seconds. It was like the blink of an eye. They were gone. They were sold out. So collectors in high demand or bots or both got their hands on them. So yeah, I mean that's the big challenge right there right now. One of the fun figures in that Holothon line right now, though, have you seen the NECA Ultimate, the Alf figure that they've put out?
Yeah, I've seen the Ultimate Elf. I haven't picked it up yet.
Impressive looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's,
haven't gotten it either, but it looked good in the store. I
it's
looked at it.
comes with his little like shirt that he wore in the cartoon too. Comes with a. It's weird that you had that so readily available. I'm not surprised that you have it. I'm just surprised that it was literally right there. Like, why was it in your lap? Like, what's Apple been doing this? I know another big item, and I don't know if you guys have seen this before. This is part of the. I don't know if you guys have ever been into Gremlins before, but that's one of NECA properties that's really big. They re-released their Spider Gremlin. It is huge. It's massive. I'm not a Gremlin. Like, I'm not a collector of that myself, but I know that's been re-released, and a lot of people are a really big fan of that. Chris, I know.
Gremlins 2?
Pardon? Yeah.
Is that from the Gremlins 2 movie?
Yeah, man, and it's crazy. It's a huge figure. It's really detailed.
Avery?
I have 2 of the original when they're first released in
2013, I think.
2014, 2013. I have 2 of the originals. I got it from, where did I get it from? I think I ordered it from ToyBoyz, if I recall correctly. So I have 2 Spider Gremlins in the
Yeah.
box, unopened,
Oh,
brand new from the original ones. But
oh
real
yeah.
quick, back to the
Yeah, man.
holothon. I did get
Yeah.
two things. I got the two of the Shredder clones, and I got two of the Manta Ray action figures. The Manta Ray was kind of like I guess a nostalgic buy because I remember when he came out in the comic book and the RT comic book, and I had like this old school Ninja Turtles, like it was like a little book of Ninja Turtles, like a quick short story, and that's when Manta Ray
Oh, nice.
Manta Ray showed up. I think I
Yeah.
still have it somewhere in my stuff. So when I saw that, it just took me back to that time. So those are
Yeah.
the two things I got. I wasn't too pressed about the accessory pack, but
Really, that's
yeah,
crazy high demand right now. Everybody wants those little baby shrunken Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that come with the accessory pack. It's really cute. Comes with a TV with a couple of different screens and stuff. It's really crazy high demand right now. The two figures I think you mentioned, those are part of the comic book line. I think both the Manta Ray and the that Shredder, the clone Shredder, those are both comic book line. But they released a lot of Toon 2-packs, and a lot of those hit shelves at the same time. I think they were supposed to be spread out, but that was a hit. That was a hit to the wallet right there. That was picking up all those at one time. I actually kind of lucked out. I was at rehearsal last Saturday. I was at orchestra rehearsal, and there's a guy I met in a Facebook group who lives here in town. He lives like in Winter Garden where I live. Please don't stalk me, millions of viewers. And he texted me and he's like, "Hey man, I'm at Target right now. The NECA rep is here. I can get you everything you want." And he's like, "The only thing they won't have is like an extra accessory set because, like I said, high demand." So he was able to get me everything I wanted like in that one shot, and I didn't have to go anywhere. So I really lucked out with that. So like, I mean, if you are one of those guys who's out there, you're trying to hunt, you're going to Target, you're going to Walmart, you're going to find these Toon Turtles or these movie turtles from NECA. I mean, it's definitely worth joining a Facebook group. And I mean, I've befriended a few people here in Orlando that I've like met up with and bought from. So just there's a community out there. There's always communities, no matter what you collect. You can find a Facebook group that is going to be somebody out there who can support you. One line that I know that all of us are at least interested in, some of us have gone into, is this XO6 line that we mentioned earlier. These 1/6 Star Trek figures. I got the Cisco in a couple weeks ago. I got the Janeway in a couple of weeks ago, and the Kolinar Spock. But I know they have the 7 of 9 is about to be released. I think within the next week, they're gonna be shipping out. So, Chris, are you looking forward to that? Did you pre-order that 7 of 9 from XO6?
I did, and I just paid it off this Friday when I got paid. As soon as I got my deposit in, I completed the payment, so I'm hoping to get that. I don't know. I probably won't get it until maybe 2 weeks from now or like a week and a half. But
Yeah.
I'm like really, really looking forward to that figure. That was like a day one pre-order for sure.
Nice. What about you, Avery? I know you've got some XO6. You've got the Cisco. Did you pre-order that 7 of 9 that everybody's been fighting over?
I think I missed 7 of 9. I have to go back and check in my email. I think I might have missed 7 of 9, but I've gotten Shran, pre-ordered that, Quark. Anything Deep Space Nine, I pretty much know I'm going to get. I got Locutus.
Yeah.
What about Archer?
And I have Archer.
It's been a long road. Too soon.
Chakotay? How about Chakotay?
I got Chakotay.
Yeah, that's a really nice
sure.
figure.
Yes. When you open the Chakotay box, he's like, Akuchi Moya. We are far from the bones of our people.
There's some problematic stuff with Akuchi Moya because they went to some fake Native American advisor for the show, and he made that shit up.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate fact about the Native American representation in that series is that it was all made up by some fake. Unfortunately,
I love that Chakotay episode where they brainwash him, where he lands on that planet and they brainwash him, and he's like in that little militia, like
Oh, and they keep calling the enemy Nemesis or whatever.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the episode
And
might be called Nemesis. I
and
don't remember.
the way they talk, I love the way they talk. Like, did you fathom it? Like
I know it's
their whole
funny.
dialect is just like
Yeah, Chakotay always got like the short end of the stick when it came to dialogue. Well, not dialogue, but just episodes in general.
episodes. Yeah,
Yeah, poor guy. Poor guy. So, what about Hasbro? I know they've got a bunch of new properties coming out. They've got G.I. Joe that's coming out, Transformers, Star Wars. Eric, I know you added some of that to the list. What are you looking forward to from Hasbro?
It's tough with Hasbro these days. That I have things on a list pre-ordered 6 months ago, 8 months ago, that they can't reliably predict when things are going to come. So it almost, by the time you get it, your enthusiasm for it has waned quite a bit. When you had to wait that long, you saw something, you were excited when it was announced, you pre-ordered it, all this time goes by. Meanwhile, there's more waves of pre-orders. They keep having these streaming events. I think there's 3 or 4 of them next week alone. There's like a G.I. Joe one on Tuesday. There's a Star Wars on Wednesday. There's a Marvel on Thursday. It's just like, so there's been a lot of outcry from the fans, like, stop with the pre-orders. Like, get us the product we already ordered first.
Yeah,
Stop kind of piling more on top of more, like, until you can sort out your situation. So the last announcement they had for Star Wars, I believe, they said there's going to be no pre-orders. You can find these in stores sometime in the summer. They didn't even have like a specific date, just summer. And then that was almost like they went too far the other direction because like you, Chris, I don't have the inclination to go to Targets and Walmarts anymore hunting for toys, because usually when I have done that, it's been a complete bust, a complete waste of time. The shelves are bare. Anything good that shows up is immediately scooped up by the employees that work there and given to their friends or sold on eBay or whatever. So the actual toy hunt is becoming a very frustrating kind of, like, it's not like the old days. Like 10 years ago, it was fun. You go to Toys R Us, see what they got new, and they had plenty of stuff. You just bought what you wanted and it was there. So when you ask about Hasbro, yeah, there's things I'm definitely looking forward to. I would say maybe the Indiana Jones line is probably one that, because I haven't gotten any of those yet.
yeah, I saw that. They look great. I think those figures look great.
So, and 6-inch for me is kind of the sweet spot now. Clearly has superior articulation and detail and accessories compared to 3 and 3/4,
Yeah.
but still can fit in the space that I have. I know you guys are gonna make a joke.
We tried to keep it together.
Man, audience is gonna watch everything I say.
yeah. I like to stay in the 7-inch
Oh,
scale,
yeah.
7-inch
The
scale,
NECA
but
one.
but
Yeah.
also like 1/6 scale. Like that's why I don't really collect a lot of like the Hasbro or like Marvel Legends or anything like that. Like, I like to stay in those two like realms of my stuff. That's another reason why I never really picked up the NECA Gremlins. I've always appreciated them, and but some of them just got really expensive, which is now they're re-releasing some of them. But I just don't like how they don't scale up with the other NECA figures. Like they
Right.
do scale,
With anything,
they do
really.
scale up with 1/6 scale stuff, but it's like you have to like pick and choose your stuff when you have like a limited income. Like that's why
Yeah.
another reason
Yeah.
I didn't buy the Toon Turtles. I think they're great. I think they're a really cool line, but I can't afford it. Even like the Super 7 stuff. I would love all that He-Man stuff, but it's just you have to pick your poison, like
Yeah, man. That's how
Like
I
there's
felt.
Super
When,
7 GI Joes that look really nice, but they're 55,
Incredible.
60 bucks
those
each.
classified GI Joes.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that
Super
what you're talking
7
about?
has
Like,
their own
Super 7,
similar
yeah.
scale,
oh
but,
yeah. You're right.
but they're like $55, whereas the Hasbro are 25. So it's
Yeah.
like it's pretty
I
soon.
love Super 7, but like those Simpsons figures that they released, I think they also have like Animaniacs too that they released, and they look fantastic. They look fantastic, but what is it, like $50 a figure at this point?
Yeah,
And
like
I'm like,
55. And
yeah,
that's
man,
just
plus
like
shipping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plus
plus
shipping.
tax and shipping. You're talking about like 70, $75 a figure. It's just too much, man.
The Disney Ultimates are really cool too. That they're doing all their anything
Yeah.
that they do in Ultimate form is like really cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping my girlfriend doesn't see the Disney Ultimates because, I mean, she'll ignore the price tag and just, all of a sudden $300 later, she's got, Daisy and Mickey and whatever other Disney characters that I can't think of names of right now, just all over the place. I will say though. Oh, Avery, yeah, man, what's up?
I want to make an interjection about a line that's semi discontinued now. So I am a huge Batman the animated series fan.
Yeah.
So back in 2014 or 2015, when DC started making the Batman the animated series line from DC Collectibles, I started collecting those, and then I got deployed, and I literally went on ToyBoyz and ordered like a full run of animated series action figures that DC Collectibles did. So I literally have that entire line of everything that ever came out. I had the Batmobile, I had the Batwing, I had the Batcave, everything. They even I even got the 4-pack of the villains that was in the jail case with the Renee Montoya. I got that. And then what I hate is that they went back and re-released them individually, the villains, because it was like Bane, Killer Croc, original version of Poison Ivy, and was it the Penguin? I can't remember who the fourth villain was, and then Montoya was the fifth figure. But I have all of those, and they had some more figures slated out, but then they canceled them because that's when Warner Brothers had got purchased by AT&T, and they canceled the line. But then they brought back 4 of the figures out of the 8 that were supposed to come out last year. They reissued them, put through McFarlane Toys, but you could tell they were the same molds and the same packaging as the original.
So you think McFarlane is going to keep going after this first release, that 4-pack that came out?
Well, they brought another pack of characters, of villains, that came out in January, I think it was, but it was a Walmart exclusive.
Yeah,
I pre-ordered that. I think I mentioned that to you, Eric, back when, because you mentioned it. I was like, oh, I already pre-ordered it the first day they mentioned it. So I don't know if they're going to continue that or not, because McFarlane's taking over. But I'm not.
McFarlane has a tendency to start a line and then end it like after one wave.
Star Trek, for example. I know Chris is saying that.
Well, he's not doing that with DC because he's the only one bringing toys out for them, basically.
But one thing that bothers me is he's doing too much Batman, and I see a lot of other people complaining about that too. That he's not doing enough like female characters. There hasn't been like one decent Wonder Woman figure. There are a lot of them the few that he's put out have been like specific ones from certain storylines and stuff. He hasn't done like that one quintessential Wonder Woman figure that people want.
There was some whole controversy about that where Todd was saying that female figures don't sell and I can't put them in the boys aisle and things.
Oh, really?
A lot of stuff.
He sounds like a 90s company. Yeah.
How long ago was it that he said that? I'm like, that's stupid. But
just a few months ago.
He's a dummy.
I think he's kind of lost his grasp on reality with a lot of the stuff. He just puts out whatever he wants. He doesn't listen to a lot of the fans.
I do appreciate what he's doing with the classic Batman series from the 60s, the figures that they're putting out, McFarlane's putting out with that. I'm not even a big fan of it, but I just really like the kind of the vibe of it. I've got them myself, and like the fact that he's putting out play sets, which huge for me. Like I'm sure you guys too. Like you look behind Eric, you see all these kind of different vehicles and play sets and stuff. So important. He's got like his Batcave that he's put together, a villain's lair. I mean, it's just really impressive the fact that like he's still making play sets for some of these kind of they're not the best figures ever, but like these higher end kind of figures geared for adult collectors, I think is really pretty cool.
They're cool. I just wish they were a little taller. They're kind of, I think they're in the 6 inch, like 5.5 inch scale.
Yeah.
Like if they were 7 inch, I would totally get them and put them with all my other stuff. But
Mm.
because I love like the TV. That's what I really like collecting is like TV and movie stuff because I'm a big like film collector also.
Yeah.
So I like to keep everything in that realm. I don't really delve into the comic book or cartoon. I have a few things here and there, but as far as like collections like to go, I like everything to be in that realm of.
Yeah. So speaking of that scale, those Super 7, the Star Trek figures that they announced, that first wave, I think it was a Riker, Data, Locutus, and Guinan, I think. Did anybody else pre-order those? Because I know I was saying that it's like $55 a figure is too much, but I definitely went ahead and pulled the trigger on those day one.
I
Anybody
broke
else?
down on those and got them too. Yeah.
Yeah?
The accessories put it over the top for me.
I agree. Once I saw, I was like, if Riker doesn't come with a trombone, I don't even know what we're doing here. And as soon as I saw that trombone, same thing with Data. I was like, if Data doesn't come with Spot, I don't even know what. And then as soon as I was like, you know what? And same thing with Guinan. I was like, if she doesn't have that phaser that she pulls out in that one episode, then what? And she literally, and I was like, you guys read my mind. You guys checked all the boxes. They knocked out the accessories. It was fantastic, and it's in that same scale that Chris was talking about. I think that's helpful. It's good stuff.
I didn't pre-order those. I wanted to, but I missed the window because I didn't really like want to put up $200 and wait like
a year and a half, probably.
Yeah, I really hate like putting money out there and waiting for, like what Eric was saying earlier. I hate pre-ordering and waiting, having that big window of like, when am I going to get these? And like 3 years pass, and then you're just like, oh, I forgot I ordered this stuff.
I've gotten used to that with NECA because that's how NECA is essentially. Like you pre-order something and then you wait 8, 9, 10 months, almost a year, whatever, and that's just how it goes. But I think that just about wraps up kind of what we wanted to talk about today with our new releases and kind of getting ourselves introduced out into the world for our millions and millions of fans who are currently watching us right now. So anything else you guys want to shout out real quick before we go? Any toys that you kind of a toy of the week or toy of the podcast you want to throw out there? Your pick of the podcast? Anything you guys want to put out there?
Yeah, I just want to show off this Hot Toys Yondu that I got. It's pretty rare, but it's one of the most recent figures that I got recently.
Very nice.
It's freaking awesome.
Oh, nice.
Like, the arrow that he has that he shoots off, just all the detail on this is like so awesome. It even comes with a little Ravager Groot.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
this looks fantastic.
This has been like my number. This was kind of like got me back into buying Hot Toys. Like I was looking like, oh, I want a Star-Lord, and then I started getting like more of the Guardians and stuff. And this like Guardians is my favorite out of all the Marvel stuff because it's still like kind of sci-fi, like So I just wanted to show this off because it's a really cool figure.
Cool. What about you, Eric? You got like a whole display behind you. You got all the best stuff. Anything else? Anything in particular you want to point out?
I guess on my desk here, I don't know if you'll see this very well, but this is the G.I. Joe Classified Dusty. They did a really good job with him. His weapon is like very accurate to the original toy. Even has the bipod that everybody lost, and couldn't find, and very hard to find complete on the original toy. The helmet comes off. Pretty good detail on the face and whatnot.
You're making me wish I had awesome. Yeah, joking. Yeah. Actually, we're not going to be able to air that because it's supposed to be classified. So we're going to need.
Jared, what about you? I want to get the Outback. I want to get the Outback from Classified because he was like one of my favorites, and like Tunnel Rat if they ever do him eventually, also Flint. Flint was always my favorite too.
Yeah. What about you, Jared? Anything else you want to throw up there?
I don't think so. I don't have anything within arm's reach that would be.
No worries. I was going to ask your wife, our producer, to throw up a photo for me. Post and when she's editing this. So For myself, I'll just put out there that X06 Cisco that I just got. Imagine I'm holding it right now. Eric will throw up a photo of that just to show what that looks like. But that's just something I got, and that was a gift to myself because I just got a promotion at work, and it was usually not something I would spend that much money on. But oh, here we go. Chris has actually got it right here. So while Chris is busting that out for me, Avery, do you have something, a toy you want to kind of shout out, like something you want your pick of the week?
I will say this. I don't know. I'm just kind of shocked that I got that daggone Unicron, the Hazard Unicron.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
we should throw a photo of
kinda,
that up too. Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I think successful first run at our podcast. Appreciate you all being here. Appreciate Aaron for helping to set this up and produce and edit and put this together. Also, shout out to Lean. Make sure you look her up on Instagram and Facebook for making our logo. She's fantastic. So on behalf of Avery and Jared, Eric, Christopher, and myself, thanks for tuning in for our millions and millions of fans, and we'll see you next time, toy fans. Peace out.
See you guys later.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Chris brings Alf everywhere.
He's busy right now.
Aaron can get this in post.